What is up, Not So Pro Football Talk? This is Vince the Prince here again with another video of the Medical Hour with NSP. As always, I am your host for this video. So we'll just get right into it, guys. It was a crazy week 5. We have a lot of injuries to some very good fantasy players, so I'll keep you posted on that as we watch this video. First off, I want to talk about some of these guys who are going to be healthy, and that is going to be Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence did dodge a bullet here. He did have a knee injury where he was taken out of that fourth quarter. Yes, it wasn't going to be something that is going to keep him out for multiple weeks. But right now, he just has some knee soreness, and no damage was seen through any MRIs that I've seen of. So it'll be a quick turnaround for him. They play the Saints on Thursday, but it's looking like he should play. If not, just keep tabs on that. Who knows? Because we may see CJ Beathard come in, but as of right now, it's looking like CJ Beathard's just going to take a lot of the practice reps, and Trevor Lawrence should be good to go on Thursday. Next off, I want to go ahead and talk about another guy who should be okay, and that is Baker Mayfield at the quarterback position for the Buccaneers. Yes, he also dodged a bullet. He had an X-ray on his left hand, no fractures, no ligament damage, which is the best thing to hear, especially for your quarterback. It wasn't his non-throwing hand, as he is a right-handed thrower, so this left hand does not affect him and his throwing, but it is tender and sore, so look for him to be out on that report of injury for the Bucks for like at least a couple of days, but then he should probably get back into it because, like I said, no damage. They play the Falcons on Sunday. It should be Baker Mayfield starting for the Bucks. Next, I'll get into the guys who are not so lucky at the quarterback position, and I'll start off with Jimmy G. Jimmy G was possibly the one who really got blindsided here, literally on that sack as well. But he also dodged a bullet. Now, I'm going to say that a lot because a lot of these guys did. It's looking like a lot of his injuries are not going to be as bad as we expected when they got hurt. Yes, Jimmy G got taken in an ambulance. Yes, he went to the hospital. Yes, they said that he needs more pending scans, but his back injury is trending up according to the Raiders franchise. So this is good, but it looks like he is also going to be out for a multitude of weeks. Now, the prognosis of this says that his back injury is going to be a 2-week delay, so he might not be on the field for at least 2 weeks. And especially if the scans are a little bit more positive, it may look in the direction that he can be back in those 2 weeks. If not, if we get some bad news from those scans, he could be out for 3 to 4 weeks, and we'll have to rely on the Las Vegas Raiders to throw to Devontae Adams with Hoyer and McDaniels. Now, in my opinion, I think this week they should go with Hoyer versus the Bears. He knows the system a little bit better. McDaniels did look good in the preseason, but I still think they need to bring him in slowly, let him learn. And maybe if Hoyer is not doing good in this game against the Bears, which they most likely should be because the Bears are not playing very well, then McDaniels can get his shot. Don't just throw him out there into the fire. He's probably ready for it, but we don't want to throw these rookies out too fast because usually it doesn't go well. So Jimmy G should be out for 2 weeks as it's looking right now. It could possibly be longer, guys. So make sure you're looking at those updates. Make sure you're keeping up with NSP here. Next, I'm going to talk about the people that the Raiders are facing, and that is the Bears. The Bears just lost possibly their best talent, in my opinion. Now, the guys like AJ and Reed might disagree here, but I thought Justin Fields was making a little bit of a resurgence, having 2 games with 4 passing touchdowns and above 28 fantasy points in back-to-back weeks. Yes, it was unfortunate that he only went out with 58 yards passing. I thought it was going to be more. I even put a bet on it. But Justin Fields had a thumb injury in his throwing hands. So unlike Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields is not so lucky, guys. So dislocated thumb. The timetable is unknown as of this time. So it's looking like Bagent Their quarterback that was an undrafted guy should be lacing him up to play Las Vegas this week. In my opinion, I don't know how this guy's going to translate well. Have not done my research on him, but it doesn't look like it's going to be something to start on fantasy. So do not start Badgett. Look for some other quarterbacks out there. Maybe even Baker Mayfield if he's not picked up. I still think that he's going to play, but Justin Fields is looking like he's going to be out, guys. They're saying it's all down to grip strength and how he's going to do with that dislocated thumb. But I think they're going to take caution here, and they're going to sit Justin Fields for at least this week until he feels a little bit better with that throwing hand. Lastly, for these quarterbacks, I want to talk about Ryan Tannehill. Ankle injury, looked pretty bad, had to be taken off of the field in a stretcher, basically. They drove him off into the locker room. But good news is Mike Vrabel says it looks similar to last year. And last year, Ryan Tannehill was only out for 3 weeks. So that is possibly the best news that they could get. I think this is the moment where Malik Willis starts to take over this Tennessee Titans team. Derrick Henry is playing all right. Tyjae Spears is also playing all right. They have some decent wide receivers that Malik Willis can, rely on. They have the tight end Okonkwo. So I think Malik Willis's time has come. Because Ryan Tannehill is going to be out for at least 3 weeks if this is a similar ankle injury to last year. He is getting older. It might take him possibly a little bit longer, but luckily for the Titans, they have a bye week. So they have time to get Malik Willis up to speed. But I also think in week 8, Malik Willis may be a guy to target for fantasy. Yes, I said it. Yes, maybe he'll get 15 points, but there's a possibility with his running threat ability to get 20 plus points, in my opinion. They go up against Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta hasn't been playing amazing, but they haven't been playing bad either. But I think Malik Willis, the way he showed out this past week with the limited amount of snaps that he got after Ryan Tannehill left, I think he played pretty well. Yes, he did look a little bit shaky at times, but he was not planning to play this game. He should have always been ready because you never know when someone gets injured. But Malik Willis is possibly going to take over this team. And I think Derrick Henry, Tyjae Spears, people like DeAndre Hopkins are going to help that. Yes, I know DeAndre Hopkins had a little bit of an injury scare, but don't worry, guys. I think he is going to play this week as well. I mean, in the next 2 weeks, because remember, they have a bye week. So come week 8 against Atlanta, DeAndre Hopkins should be starting as well. So I will move on to possibly the most desired player everybody wants to hear about, and that is CMC. Christian McCaffrey for the 49ers. Yes, I know you 49ers fans are hurting right now. Hurting. You're like, what is going to happen to our best player on the team? Well, guys, again, CMC also dodged a bullet here. An oblique injury, not too bad, but for a running back, that's where you get hit the most. So he should be out for at least 1 to 2 weeks, pending an MRI scan still. At this point in time, when I'm recording an hour ago, they said that he still needs to get his scans. So they haven't rushed into it yet. They want to make sure that they get the right information. They want to make sure that CMC is completely healthy and that the scans are going to be correct and the best ones that they can possibly get. So, they got to schedule these things, guys. Scans aren't just available, not even for NFL players. They have to go ahead and get someone who is qualified, and they want to get the best working MRI machines out there. So they have to be calibrated and everything like that. But the 49ers are going up against the Vikings. I do believe they still should win, even without CMC, because another guy who got hurt there for the 49ers is Deebo Samuels, but he looks like he's day-to-day. I'll talk about that right now, but CMC should be out at least 1 to 2 weeks, like I said. That's the best news that they could possibly get, but we are still pending those MRI scans, guys, so it could be longer. But that's just my opinion at this time with the information that I have. Now moving on to Deebo Samuels. Don't like talking about the 49ers too much, but Deebo Samuels has a similar injury that Richardson did that I had in the video last week. So yes, an AC sprain, shoulder, guys, shoulder, not your AC units that help cool and heat your home, you know. But with Debo Samuels, there's still an MRI pending. 1 to 2 weeks is the best case scenario here, but I think he's going to play. There is some information out there that says he's day to day. I believe it was from Shanahan who said this. He's like, Debo Samuels is fine. We're gonna run him into the ground. Debo, Schmebo, Samuels, whatever. Yeah, so look for Debo Samuels to play against the Vikings. Do I think that he's going to be going off against the Vikings? Probably not. But with CMC out, I do believe that they will rely a little bit more on the pass game, and Debo Samuels may benefit from that if he's completely healthy, like Shanahan says. But that's all I'm going to talk about the Niners. But I do need to talk about a different NFC West team, and no, it's not the Seahawks, thankfully. But it's the Rams, the LA Rams with Kyron Williams. It's not looking too hot, guys. Maybe it could be a lot worse, but missing Kyron Williams for 1 to 2 weeks is bad for fantasy owners because he's been playing so well. But something even worse is that their backup, Ronnie Rivers, is also going to be sidelined for an extended period of time, guys. 4 to 5 weeks, looking like he'd go on IR for a grade 3 PCL strain. That is the posterior cruciate ligament. I only know about this stuff because I also tore my ACL, which is the anterior cruciate ligament, twice. I tore it twice, guys. Yes. Uh, that's why I love this medical stuff. That's what got me into the medical field. But yeah, Rodney Rivers is going to be out to 4 to 5 weeks, possibly even longer, depending on how that PCL heals. Because if it's not going to heal correctly, they may have to go in there and possibly think about surgery since it is a grade 3 strain. But looking up for the Rams, they are playing up against the Steelers next week. It should be an easier game, but don't ever count the Steelers out. They do have Mike Tomlin as their coach, and possibly they could get things rolling here at this point in the season. But look for Zach Evans. Yes, Zach Evans, the guy who used to be the backup for the Bengals. Now he's the backup for the Rams. He is going to assume the starting role position if they don't sign anybody, because I don't think Kyron Williams will be healthy. I especially don't think Ronnie Rivers will be healthy. And that's about the only options that they have. They're going to rely heavily on the pass. So do not go after Zach Evans if you are super, super hungry for a running back to replace these guys. You're going to have to look elsewhere. Chuba Hubbard, maybe Kelly, Charbonnet from the Seahawks is possibly a good guy to pick up off the waiver wire if they are still available. But this is mostly a medical video, not too much of a fantasy video, but I do want to give you guys the best options that you can possibly get out there. I do want to talk about two offensive linemen, and I will start with the 49ers, Trent Williams, one of the best tackles in the league. He's also going to have some soreness, but he should play. So that will be the best case scenario for the 49ers run game. Look for Elijah Mitchell to pick up where CMC left off. No, not 20 points, but he's going to run the ball effectively. He's been waiting for his chance, and he's a good pass catcher too. So 49ers should be fine against the Vikings. Don't worry, guys. But yeah, Trent Williams should be fine. Another guy I want to talk about, though, on the offensive line is Lane Johnson. Guys, it's believed that he suffered a lateral ankle sprain. It's looking like he may be out for almost 2 to 3 weeks. I'm looking more at 1 to 2 weeks because guys usually come back off those ankle sprains pretty effectively. But there are MRIs still pending, so I do not have all the information I need to make sure that I am 100% accurate here, but I do believe it should be 1 to 2 weeks, leaning more towards those 2 weeks there because they want to get Lane Johnson back as healthy as possible, guys. They do need their offensive linemen a lot, and you saw that this past week as the Eagles lost. Lane Johnson plays a big factor in those QB sneaks, in the pass protection, the run game. Swift had no lanes to run through. Jalen Hurts had no protection. It was a good game, but you guys can see how much these offensive linemen mean. Offensive line lives matter. Yes, AJ, that was for you right there. But yeah, guys, other than that, all these injuries are not believed to be long term. Like I said, the only one is the backup running back in Ronnie Rivers, who's going to go on IR. This isn't like the week prior where we had a bunch of stars like Justin Jefferson and James Conner go on IR. It's not like that this week, guys. It's going to be 1 to 2 weeks, if not even less. So it's looking up for these guys who got injured this past week. Only guys to really worry about is Ryan Tannehill, which you probably aren't worrying about. And of course, maybe CMC, as we need to find out more information on his oblique injury. But other than that, guys, that was the medical hour for these past week's games here in week 5. Go ahead and comment below on what you think about my analysis about these injuries. And go ahead and leave a comment down on who you think is the next guy to rise up out of these injuries. Because there's always one guy every single week who takes advantage of these guys getting injured. And in my opinion, I think it's Malik Willis. So put down in the comments who you think it's going to be. And as we always say, guys, keep on grinding.